arguably the best fighter pound for pound in the world, certainly the best heavyweight of this generation. He's one of the greatest all-time fighters. He's an Olympic medalist. He's a 2-division champion. His resume is unmatched. But they're talking about him like he's a total scrub. And not in the same way that they were talking about Francis. They spoke about Francis like he was not on Tyson's level. That's not the talk here. The talk here is, who is this guy? And where did he come from? Well, I just told you where he came from. But I put out a poll on Friday. Asking which fight would you have been more interested in? Francis versus Rico or Rico versus Usyk? And I get that my base is probably more MMA centric, but I think that there would have been a much greater interest in a Francis-Rico MMA or boxing match than a Rico-Usyk boxing match. And not necessarily because of the skill discrepancy, because I don't think that there is a crossover between boxing and kickboxing.
That dude's dad took him out of boxing for 2 years to have him learn Ukrainian dance so that he have better footwork.
And he was dancing on people. I watch his highlights on Instagram.
Footwork was insane.
Usyk's the same.
Mm-hmm. Same coach.
Usyk's the same person.
Same coach.
I really like Usyk.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's crazy.
Again, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. And not a big guy either, you know?
He just knows where to go and when to go.
Mm-hmm.
Beat him twice? Yeah, look, if he's going to fight, if Wardley beats Dubois and Usyk wants to fight Wardley after Rico, no one can give him any problem there, right? Wardley is a real fight. He knocked out Joseph Parker. Yeah. He's #1 in Ring Magazine rankings. But Caballel deserves his shot too. I'm a big fan of Caballel.
I'm a big fan of him.
Great body puncher at heavyweight, which you don't see a lot. I mean, he beat up Zhang's body. So
what's the #1 heavyweight fight that you could make that would be the biggest fight for boxing fans right now, guys? Let's just say the name. Who is it?
For Usyk?
Yeah.
Maybe for Usyk?
Who's the fight? If you could only choose one guy to fight
Moses
Usyk.
Atama.
Yes!
It's Atama.
Yes, Atama. So why are we pretending?
Is that too soon, though?
But certainly this ended up being the more attractive option. I had also seen like kind of rumblings that Verhoeven might have been signing with Misfits, which no me gusta. I'm not in favor of that. This is... Again, I don't know what this is because I don't think any of us really think Verhoeven's got a shot. He could make it interesting. He is younger. He's pretty big. He's going to be, I think, a little bit taller than Usyk. He's going to weigh a little bit more than Usyk. I mean, who knows what he comes in for this bout, but traditionally he's been a little bit bigger, I think. A smaller end of the natural heavyweights, but I don't know if he could ever have done really well. Maybe he could have done cruiserweight if kickboxing was big enough, but I still think he's going to have, something of a youth and perhaps an athleticism advantage. But no one really thinks he's going to win. Still, I get why he went this direction, and I think you probably get that as well. Also, the location's kind of interesting, right? They're going to do it in front of the pyramids of Giza. I have been to the pyramids of Giza. I actually went inside of them. They were this was many years ago, 30 plus years ago. It's an interesting sight to see. I don't know how readily that space is usable for a big fight.
What do you make of the fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Rico Verhoeven?
I mean, I think Rico's getting wrote off.
You come across him?
Listen, I've been training with Rico for the last 10 years, so I'm obviously pretty Rico biased. Rico's a good friend of mine. But he's a big man. He's had a lot of fights. Fair enough, they're fighting a different sport. But he can, if he hits him, it could be over. Do I think that Rico's a better boxer than Usyk? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. But I think that he's getting wrote off and he's definitely got a chance of winning.
The upcoming clash between Oleksandr Usyk and Rico Verhoeven is one of the most unusual heavyweight matchups in recent memory. A reigning boxing champion facing off against a kickboxing legend, with a world title on the line, has left the combat sports world divided. Some fighters and analysts are thrilled by the spectacle and scale of the event, while others question whether it should even happen. Opinions are strong and varied. Here's what some key voices in the sport had to say about this unconventional fight.
They're sticking with the champ because he's the man. And that's what they're doing. They're sticking with the man that they recognize as the best heavyweight fighter in the world.
Yeah, but don't recognize Rico Verhoeven in that same breath. Create a different belt. Create a belt that brings the
There's too many belts around.
No, I mean for this one-off fight. I don't agree the WBC. I agree with the event. I agree with monumental matchmaking being made in terms of the greatest kickboxer ever against one of the greatest heavyweight in history. I rank him about #7 as the great heavyweights.
Frank Warren doesn't seem particularly enthusiastic about Usyk facing Verhoeven. A known critic of crossover bouts, he believes there are legitimate heavyweight contenders already waiting for their shot. Warren highlighted fighters like Ajit Cabale, who have been patient and active in pursuit of a title. Instead of bringing in an athlete from another discipline, Warren argues, the focus should remain on true boxing contenders. At the same time, he acknowledged the reality of modern fight promotions. Money and popularity often drive these events. He cited Tyson Fury's bout with Francis Ngannou as a prime example of a crossover fight fueled by financial incentives. While Warren isn't a supporter of such fights, he understands why they happen and recognizes the excitement they generate among fans.
Got his fight in Egypt against the kickboxer. After that, he has to defend his WBC title against Ajit Kabayel, who's been very patient and has been active. Fought early, as I said earlier, in January. He has to have that fight. He has to do that fight. If he doesn't do it, then he has to vacate the title or he'll be stripped. And then he can fight one of those guys. Not a problem. They're with us. We can make these fights happen. But the most important thing he needs to focus on, he's got to defend that BC title against Kabayel.
What do you think, though, Frank? You must have a view on Usyk fighting a kickboxer.
What do I think?
Yeah.
I don't like all that stuff. I mean, I'm not a big fan of all that stuff, you know.
But from the WBC point of view, Kabayel's been sitting in the wings, deserves his shot.
Well, it's wrong. It's wrong. Yeah. He should have been fighting Kabayel.
But you put Fury in with Ngannou.
Yeah, I did put him in.
So you've indulged in it?
Sorry?
You've indulged in it?
I've indulged in something where some serious money was offered for a fight for a lot of money. And as I said at the time, it would be exciting, and it was exciting.
Liam Goff shared strong criticism of the Usyk versus Verhoeven matchup, viewing it as contrary to everything Usyk has built his career on. He emphasized that Usyk earned his reputation by taking on the toughest opponents, often in their home territories, and winning without hesitation. This decision to face a non-boxer, in Goff's view, undermines the standards Usyk has set throughout his career.
Mandatory for Anthony Joshua, goes to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, into the Lions Den, schools him completely. No issues, no negotiations, no this, no that, no all this nonsense, just have gloves, we'll fight, brilliant, amazing. Rematches him, which he was obliged to do, even as a mandatory. Goes to Saudi Arabia. Joshua just signed the deal with DAZN, lifelong deal at Matchroom. He was the A side, even though he wasn't the champion. Doesn't matter, schools him again, beats him again. Brings Daniel Dubois to Poland. That was a mandatory. He was seen as a kind of coming home party for Oleksandr Usyk, given what was happening in his country. No one begrudged him that. Fights Tyson Fury. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Undisputed. Turkey was constantly with Tyson Fury, constantly on his side. Seemed inevitable that they were going to give Fury the win regardless. Goes to Oleksandr Usyk on a split decision. Should have been unanimous. Rematches him. Beats him again, this time more soundly. Fights Dubois, Wembley Stadium. The fight before that, Dubois just knocked out Anthony Joshua in Wembley Stadium. You see a pattern here.
Goff also stressed that the heavyweight division already has deserving contenders who have worked their way up and deserve an opportunity. In his opinion, giving a title shot to someone from another sport with minimal boxing experience diminishes the legitimacy of a championship fight. He characterized the matchup more as a spectacle or promotional stunt than a genuine title defense, frustrating fans who expect world titles to be contested by the best in the division.
There's Fabio Wardley, WBO champion, another cracker undisputed. There's Murat Gassiev. I might not think he's the best, but a rematch with him at heavyweight could be something different. There's Lawrence Okoli, there's Joseph Parker, there's Filip Hrgovic, there's F.A. Ajagba, there's Richard Riakporhe, there's Richard Torres, etc, etc, etc. And you pick this guy? Not only to have him in a boxing match, but to defend your title over 12 rounds and charge pay-per-view for this? This is ridiculous. Pathetic. Pathetic from Oleksandr Usyk. I cannot believe he would stoop this low. I thought it was bad when he was talking about fighting Deontay Wilder, but oh boy was I wrong. This really does show to me that at this stage now he's just collecting. And it's all well and good. If you want to collect, fine. If you want to have a victory lap, fine. But don't do it as champion. Don't put your title on the line against someone like this when there are way more deserving guys. There are way more deserving fighters than this guy. Oh, but he was a great kickboxer. I don't give a damn.
Another concern Goff raised was Usyk's priorities at this stage in his career. He suggested the fight feels more like a financial decision than a move to enhance Usyk's legacy. If it were a non-title exhibition, it might have been more understandable. What truly sparked frustration, however, was that the WBC heavyweight title was at stake in a 1 or 2 round bout against someone with almost no professional boxing experience, making the fight seem more promotional than a serious championship defense.
I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. If this was an exhibition, I wouldn't have minded. If this was a non-title fight, I still would have been annoyed about it, but not to this extent. This is shocking stuff from Oleksandr Usyk. This isn't... If this is what they mean by this announcement is game-changing, groundbreaking for all the wrong reasons, yeah, I agree, it is for all the wrong reasons. This is This is a joke. What on earth are they doing? Putting this... I almost swore there, but you know what I'm referring to. Oleksandr Usyk, this is unacceptable.
Oladipo, meanwhile, focused on the WBC's decision rather than the matchup itself. He expressed confusion over how rapidly the situation escalated. Initial reports indicated the fight would be a special event or exhibition, another crossover spectacle seen before. Fans and analysts were prepared to accept it as such. Then, unexpectedly, the WBC declared it an official heavyweight title defense, turning what seemed like a novelty event into a sanctioned world championship fight.
Is interesting is the U-turn that the WBC have done in the last, 48 hours. They've done a massive U-turn. Now, initially, when I saw the fight poster, I do believe, I can't remember, I haven't got it up in front of me, but I do believe it did say WBC heavyweight title fight between the two. Didn't say any of the other sanctioning bodies, just the WBC. Mauricio Sulaiman was contacted by Chris Mannix to get confirmation, like, is it a WBC heavyweight title fight? Mauricio Sulaiman said the following, that the fight will be a WBC special event and that the belt on the line will be a commemorative token. He says there has been no request for it to be sanctioned, thus it's not a heavyweight title defense. This is what Mauricio Sulaiman said a couple of days ago. Again, very akin to the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou fight, which again wasn't a heavyweight title fight, but there was this made-up belt given to the winner, Tyson Fury. I think everyone was like, okay, we aren't too happy. I think the majority of people still aren't happy with Oleksandr Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven, but you know what, if it's a special event, an exhibition type fight.
He also raised doubts about what the WBC title really represents these days. His argument was straightforward. If a kickboxer with minimal boxing experience can get a shot at a world title, it undermines the idea that the championship belongs to the best fighters in the sport. He noted that the WBC has long promoted its belt as the most prestigious in boxing, but matchups like this challenge that notion. The more these unexpected, unconventional events occur, the more the title risks losing its credibility and respect. Fabio Wardley expressed a similar sentiment when the Usyk vs Verhoeven fight was announced. His reaction mirrored the general feeling among many in boxing. Champions are expected to face professional boxers who have earned their place through the rankings. From Wardley's perspective, this fight simply didn't feel like a legitimate title defense. It seemed flat and underwhelming. Wardley also highlighted the main concern for many, the level of competition. He admitted he doesn't follow Verhoeven's kickboxing career closely, so he avoided judging him as an athlete. From a boxing standpoint, however, a champion defending a title is expected to face someone proven in professional boxing. That's why the announcement caught him by surprise. Dave Allen shared a traditional boxing perspective and was equally critical of the matchup. He clarified that his issue wasn't Verhoeven's skills. He even trained with and sparred alongside him, but rather the implications for the sport. Allen emphasized that such a fight sidelines legitimate contenders in the heavyweight division, keeping them from their well-earned opportunities. For Allen, this fight would make more sense as an exhibition rather than a title defense. He also pointed out that Usyk has already cemented his legacy, so if he chooses crossover fights for financial gain, that's his prerogative. Luke Thomas focused on the competitive side and noted that no one expects Verhoeven to win. While Verhoeven may be younger, bigger, and an accomplished kickboxer, boxing at an elite level is a completely different challenge. Usyk has spent years facing top heavyweights and adapting to diverse boxing styles, making the outcome predictable. Size and strength do not equate to superior boxing skills, especially against one of the best heavyweights in the world. Thomas also used the fight to highlight a broader trend in